Alright lads, today we're going to be doing a little bit of a Fedrid Folly cast featuring Guruskippy as the Chaos Lord and Woof as the War Boss. Unfortunately though, Woof is pre-coffee, so can't really handle any noise marines, but I don't know why he's saying that given the fact that he is a War Boss, which traditionally is generally the best option if you're playing the Orcs and you want to counter Noise Marines, because he's a big tanky dude who can run into melee and tie up the Noise Marines. Something that the Commander Nob and Mech Boys struggled to do. Wait, is Guru older than 40? No, he's not. Yeah, Guru, you're looking good for older than 40, man. Holy shit. How are you looking so good? You got a... What's your diet like? What's your skincare routine? And do you regularly work out? Tell us more in the comments down below, Guruskippy, because if you guys haven't seen Guruskippy, he's looking damn good for over 40, and that's coming from STD, who you know is an aspiring champion of Slaanesh, so that's a compliment. But yeah, you can check out his stream if you're curious. He's over there, Guruskippy X or something like that on Twitch. Maybe I'll put a link. I'll put a link if someone reminds me, or maybe someone else could put the link in the comments down below if you're familiar. Anyway, back to the game. We've got a double slugger build here from Woof, which is actually becoming quite meta now. It's... I don't know, I guess people are just... shooters... they're a bit easy to shut down. And I think really the problem with the shooters is they don't scale very well. You know, they do their job in tier 1, but they don't scale very well. Now the awkward thing here when you go double sluggers against heretics is that double heretics can counter it relatively easily with the aspiring champion. So one default slugger will easily be a default heretic, but the problem is that even burner sluggers will lose to aspiring champion heretics, and the chaos player typically is going to get 2 heretics anyway. But you play defensively, you get your looters out, and then in tier 2 you can dominate because AC ticks don't get any better in tier 2, whereas your sluggers get tremendously stronger in tier 2 once they get access to that slugger knob. So it's a bit of a... it's a strange one. You know, you start off stronger with the sluggers in the start of the game, then you get weaker in tier 1.5, but then you get better again in tier 2. And it'll be up to the Chaos player to utilise globals and abilities from his Chaos Lord in order to counter those sluggers in tier 2. Now this right here is an absolute pain in the ass. Obviously this is way too many melee units for the CSM themselves to deal with their rather pitiful range DPS. A little bit of a wah here from the sluggers to boost their speed. It's running back to the heretics, but like I say, they don't have an aspiring champion, so they're not going to be able to beat these sluggers. We've got looters moving immediately into the gen farm. Over here the AC ticks have caught these shooters and they're going to get a gen bash going on. Looter apparently missing a lot of the shots there at point blank range. It's a strange one, the Looter. I believe it's got the least consistent accuracy of any setup team. I guess it's fitting for a oh wow, look at that. For a... oh, beautiful play there from Woof. The way he stunned the Havoc with the ability there from the custom shooter and then proceeded to stomp the heretics. I mean, just beautifully executed. Use your choppers coming down the sluggers to ensure they were going to win that fight. And of course the looters are still set up and there is no counter because Guru went for the Havocs, which are countered by the looters into the custom shooter. So that's going to be a full gen bash here for... but the shooters do rout the heretics before... okay, not before, they actually do take out the power node. I guess they just finished bashing it and ignored the shooters, and that's why they incurred the losses that they did. But it delayed Woof from being able to get the remainder of his gens. So we'll probably see him proceed to get some gens up soon. It's quite funny actually, that push... it didn't really benefit him that much because he ceded so much map control. I mean, there has been a triple cap against him for a very long time. And whilst he got the gen bash against Guruskippy was able to drop 2 gens down prior to losing his node. And the whole time, Woof didn't actually have many generators himself. So he's not really getting that far ahead in tech. But did he get other investments? Wow, he didn't. He didn't even get any other investments really. So this didn't really work out, that gen bash. It really didn't, because his army is not looking any better than Guru's. In fact, honestly, well, I guess it's on par. You've got a war gear and burners versus 2 aspiring ticks. I mean, I don't know, Guru's army is honestly kind of better. It's quite surprising. I guess really, Woof just needed to make sure that you got the generators up a bit earlier before going for that push, because losing all those gens was a problem. But it's hard because it's so difficult to deal with those AC ticks, since you generally need 2 units as the orcs to do that. Or catch them with the looters, but he needed to use the looters aggressively in order to facilitate the bash. So we've got an hard boys drop here on the war boss. You'll notice the war boss has his spiky armour, so this is pretty annoying actually, because if the heretics go into melee with him, they're going to take a lot more damage from the spiky armour. They also risk being stomped. Really lucky there, he procced a special just as the heretics were going in. Here you get the damage from the spiky armour into a stomp, and oh, it's just so much bleed. And then with the regen that you get from the spiky armour, giving you an extra 2 HP per second, the fact that these CSM are low on HP, the war boss can stay in play and rout basically both of these squads. I don't even think you need the shooters there really, but they definitely secure the rout. So will we see another war boss global? Will indeed, because otherwise of course the AC ticks would win, hence he uses the use your choppers there to ensure that he stays on the field. Now there are havocs. I'm not sure that Woof has noticed, because he should have actually flanked to the side really and rotated around. So he's just going to take the decap, lose a model and then retreat. Not ideal really, would have been better to stay in play, because now the havocs are basically free to cap those 2 points. Warboss should have plenty of time here. Yeah, he's got the stomp. Buys enough time for him there to finish the VP cap and get the hell out of there. Both of our players are going to be heading into tier 2 at a relatively similar time here. Let's see where it takes them. Now this is of course where things get a little bit better for Woof when he... Yeah, that was a failed back, wasn't it? It's not a soundboard, boys. Yeah, this is where things get a little bit better for him, because he of course can get the double slugger knobs, which makes these guys way more threatening. So Guru's going to need some anti-melee assets coming out here in tier 2, but of course Woof is getting that advantage in melee without actually buying an additional unit, so his unit in tier 2 should be something that can deal with that which would counter the double sluggers with their knobs. So you would typically expect something like Bloodletters to counter-initiate the sluggers and to serve as melee superiority, but Bloodletters can't do anything against vehicles, so then you can go for a Death Dread and put on a lot of pressure, which then will probably be countered by an autocannon plus Plague Marines, or a las cannon. But then you're the war boss, you've got this custom shooter already, go for the charge, you're very tanky, you can tie up these things for a long time, not to mention you're going to have a Death Dread and 2 sluggers with knobs running around. That's 4 melee units on the field to tie up any las cannon, autocannon or Plague Marines that hit the field. So generally this is where things get quite good for the orcs, and the matchup starts to turn for them. Now Guruskippy is aware of that, and so he decided he's just going to wait for a Chaos Dreadnought. Now the beautiful thing here with the Chaos Dreadnought is that it has 20% melee resist by default, enough to protect it from the power melee damage of any slugger knobs, but the fact that it also has a ranged attack that's AV means it can put on a bit of pressure against the Death Dread from afar. Now it will lose the one-on-one against the Burners and Bits Death Dread, because the Burners and Bits Death Dread, whilst it has less HP, does get the 40% melee resist, versus only the 20% on the ordinary default Chaos Dreadnought. However, with a bit of supplementary AV, perhaps an autocannon, or maybe even a las cannon, if you really want to commit to killing this thing, then the Dread should be in a good position. And as I say, tying up the Dread with its 20% melee resist is going to be a lot less effective than tying up, you know, a Plague Marine squad or something like that that's quite vulnerable. So it looks like the looters here are going to be swapping out to a beamy Death Gun to support the Death Dread. And will the Havocs go for a las cannon or will they go for an autocannon? That is what we need to decide. Now there is also the opportunity to go for the Power Claw on the War Boss. That could be a player, though at the moment Woof is looking very lacking in power, so I doubt that's going to be a choice for him. Here we go, we've got the engagement. You see the Death Dread flanking around the rear, and we are yet to see any kind of upgrade for the Devastators. Meanwhile, the Beamy Looter is putting on a tremendous amount of DPS onto the Dreadnought. Looks like the Death Dread right now going to focus the Heretics. It's got splash damage and it's got burners and bits, so it can deal with those Heretics very quickly. Of course, there's a limited arc of fire there from the Looters. They need to tear down and reset up in a more forward position. But this should be pretty good for them. They should be able to facilitate a bash here. Of course, the burners on the Death Dread will bash very fast. It looks like the Chaos Lord even died over here. I don't know how he died. Perhaps mismicroed against some sluggers. So we do see the las cannon. He's going to get a couple of gens here, and now he needs to get out. Ooh, he's pushing forward. This is a mistake from Woof. He's not realised there is a las cannon. He's using Swamp'em and he's moving the sluggers forward to try and tie up that las cannon, but the Chaos Dreadnought has forced melee, and this is a good situation for it with the Heretics behind to repair. This is the close one. Looks like the Chaos Dreadnought's going to win. Oh my god, is that going to be one hit until the Dreadnought would have died? 64 HP, yeah, totally. One more hit would have killed it from the Death Dread. Wow, that is so fucking lucky. He lives on one more hit worth of Death Dread attacks. Wow. And the Heretics are now taking out the shooters of Woof. Suffice to say that Woof is feeling very bad right now. Really took some huge losses there. Super far behind on VPs as well. It's not really looking like a great situation for him, but if there is ever a map in which you can make a comeback from very low VPs with a lovely 2-to-1 cap, then it is Fedrid Folly. We're getting the Mantle of Hate now for the Chaos Lord. Gives him the Drain Life ability, presumably to help control this War Boss, which has been a bit of a nuisance for us to get the Blood Maul. So you got a nice bit of CC, stun, and knockback. Well, that is the CC, isn't it? Helps to deal with the sluggers. But also, it's 100 DPS melee. It's only ordinary melee, so not great against heavy infantry, but against all the light infantry, the orcs, it's very effective. It's a nice tool to scale the Chaos Lord here. Yeah, it turns out the Chaos Dreadnought did beautifully. I mean, I wouldn't be saying that if the Death Dread managed to get one more hit in. Personally, I would have disengaged from that fight, not took it in the first place. But honestly, I expected the Chaos Dreadnought to actually do a bit better than it did against the Death Dread. The fact that it literally would have been one more hit from the Death Dread, I mean, that's incredible. Incredible. I mean, delaying the CL for a bit here, but ultimately when the CL gets into melee here, he's going to be able to dominate that War Boss. So the Weird Boy was the choice here, and apparently another Death Dread, fair enough. You can try and control the las cannon with a Weird Boy because of the passive knockback that the Weird Boy does, of course. That will stop the las cannon firing when it knocks them over, because then they're not set up. So in theory, I could see how it works. Losing the shooters though is really sad, not that they were particularly useful in combat, I mean they really weren't, they were just default shooters for a reason. They're a capping unit. Now he's going to have to dedicate one of these sluggers to going down the sidelines to cap, and that is not ideal. Nice series of players there though, the combination of the zap from the Weird Boy into a basic attack and perhaps the shooter there from the auxiliary Looter Boy managing to take out to the CSM, which is quite lucky. So yeah, you see this slugger is having to rotate to the right hand side, which is not really ideal. You kind of want all you've got to charge through. Tie up all the threats. See, the Heretics repairing the Dreadnought in that last fight was kind of a big deal. So you want your sluggers either repairing your Death Dread or actually killing the enemy Heretics. And it's been so long without too much bleed being inflicted into Guruskippy that now he actually has some bloodletters in the way. So it's looking good for Guru. Bloodletters can jump that Weird Boy and put some pressure on them. Or they can hang back and counter-initiate the sluggers as they advance. But once again, the las cannon going to have to be pushed off there. Going for a little bit of a gen bash. Probably not really worth it. Oh god, he's not going to lose them, is he? If only that slugger knob could have got another shank in, then that would have been a dead las cannon, and that could have actually been what Woof needed in order to keep his Death Dread alive and win the 1v1 between the Death Dread and the Chaos Dreadnought. Just have this angry bits now. Feels a bit desperate really, capping the VP under Ard Boys. Now we're going to be moving in again. It's got to rotate the beamy so it's in the correct position to be able to shoot the Dreadnought, believe it or not. This here is a line of sight blocker because of this here. So that's problematic. It's a good zap that. Spreads to the Dreadnought and then it will spread to the CSM. Zap can't spread to the same unit more than once though. But otherwise it will keep spreading, so it should disappear now. Unless he walked close to the las cannon. So let's see. It's going for the second Death Dread. Be hard to push up here with the elevation disadvantage and the line of sight blockers against the melee, but if Guruskippy can hold this area, it's then going to be very difficult for Woof to come down and take over. I mean, I'm a bit surprised here. He's leaving the VP very open and vulnerable. I'm a bit shocked to see him do that. Let's see, can the Weird Boy stop the cap? He can. Right, the power of the Weird Boy. And he's going to need that cap. Oh wow, he didn't stop it. He rotated the CSM and managed to get the decap. Meanwhile, the Dreadnought is flanking the beamy looter quite effectively. Where's the second Death Dread? Okay, it's coming up now. Line of sight preventing the beamy from getting that next hit in. And stun from the Watt Bomb. It's probably going to wear off in time for a kill the weak heal. Yeah, it doesn't hit that many models though, so it doesn't heal loads. But this Death Dread is on the Dreadnought. Where is the Havoc? Yeah, the Havoc's resetting up, so that will snare the Death Dread and prevent it from being able to chase the Dreadnought. Getting some good damage on him. See, the other thing is, there's a lot of repair support needed here. Might be a good time to get some grots on the field. Having to dedicate the sluggers to capping duties means you don't really want them repairing. So this would be a great instance to get some grots out and have them do that instead. So the sluggers can keep capping. You see here, just the little bit of... Oh, there is some grots, there you go. Makes sense. You need to stop moving the Dreadnought. I'm sure... Oh my god, the fucking Weird Boy nearly killed all his grots. What's he doing? Jesus. Alright, it should be good here. Yeah, that's a very nicely aimed Weird Boy attack there. However, this Death Dread, not in such a good position, trying to finish off that Heretic squad, and he probably would have done so were it not for those meddling kids. I mean, meddling Dreadnought. This meddling Dreadnought that walked over and shot the Death Dread to pieces. And I think with the second Dreadnought coming out here, I think he's screwed. But we'll see. I mean, he's doing well on VPs right now, so he's got the grots repairing that one. They've got the repair kits. They're repairing at the full 10 HP per second. Another Ard Boys dropped on the War Boss here. Probably could do with having the Power Claw on the War Boss at some point. Probably should have picked that up. I think that would have been invaluable in this matchup. And the duo of Dreadnoughts is going to promptly rout that War Boss. And then I don't really understand how he's going to be able to get his furry little paws onto either of these VPs. Only 71 VPs left to his name. He needs to be hasty. Bit of a miss micro here. I'm not sure why the Heretics are in base. They should really have been going down the side here. Ooh. Yeah, use your choppers, dropped on the sluggers, going to ensure that they win this fight quite handily, one would think. Yeah, it just takes time to proc a few specials, so the Bloodletters are going to phase shift out of there. Guru is taking his time getting onto the VP here. Really taking his time. Weird Boy needs to make sure he's attacking the las cannon. Ah, no, he's doomed here. Can't deal with these dreadnoughts, man. Honestly, that buff to the Chaos Dreadnought to give it 20% melee resist was such a game changer. Such a nice versatile piece of kit right now. This is again where the Power Claw on the War Boss would be really nice, but he's just got that stupid little chopper, it's not going to do anything. Of course, the Death Dread there goes down. Bit of desperation there from Woof in the end. Oh, now he picks up the Power Claw, there you go, and he takes out a Dreadnought. Well, who would have believed it? I would, because I said it would happen. Yeah, I needed to get that thing sooner. I know in the late game he was kind of struggling with power, but there were a lot of opportunities to get it throughout the game. Could have prioritised it a bit earlier. And he's not going to be able to get onto the VP, so indeed that is going to be the capitulation. Typically we do see it from the French, but in this case it's going to be from the Czechs. I wish I had an interesting comment to make about the Czech people, but I'll be honest, I know absolutely fuck all about Czech history, so I can't do that. Anyway, there you go, that was a game between Woof and Guruskippy. Nice to have a high level game, I suppose. If you don't know, Woof is piano, also known as Kvek, also known as rich piano. Yeah, that's going to be all, folks. Hope you did enjoy that one. If you did, please leave a comment down below. Help us get boosted in the algorithm. We'll be doing very well on that front recently, and it is much appreciated. Let's keep this thing growing. Let's keep it booming. And let's keep Dawn of War 2 alive. Thank you for the support, my folks. That is going to be all from your boy Torpid this time. I am signing out.